We will have a quarterback ready to go and win. Nobody is bigger than the power T. Two separate quotes from Josh Heupel following the orange and white game. He crushed it, absolutely crushed it when addressing everything going on with the departed Nico Iamaleava.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Happy Sunday morning. Welcome into it. Your Locked On Vols. We're continuing on with this marathon, breaking news story, and that's kind of how we cover things here on the show. When something of this magnitude happens with Nico moving on, no longer being the quarterback here at the University of Tennessee, we do a ton of extra shows, and that's kind of where we are right now here on a Sunday morning. This show, as we welcome you into Locked On Vols, I'm Eric Cain. Appreciate you for being here and making Locked On Vols your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. This show is going to focus on Josh Heupel and his reaction to Nico Iamaleava leaving. I've got a bunch of audio clips, a bunch of video clips going to play here. Ask a ton about Nico Iamaleava following the orange and white game. So that's what this show is going to focus on. Monday's show is going to talk about the orange and white game. We'll answer your questions. So I know you got plenty of them. Please send them in there at _Cainer and at Locked On Vols. I'll go ahead and start bookmarking them and saving them. A lot going on right now. And there were some positives from the orange and white game, but that's not the biggest story this weekend. And that's why we've done shows, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, Sunday morning now. Like, the biggest news, of course, is the fallout of Tennessee and quarterback Nico Iamaleava. So, it's continuing to feel like, man, I can't believe that just happened. I was talking with a colleague of mine, a buddy of mine that covers Tennessee football as well, and I'm not surprised that this eventually happened. Maybe I'm surprised that it happened at Tennessee first. And there's a bigger conversation here about, could this be a course correction, about how Nico was literally the poster child for name, image, and likeness, and maybe his departure from Tennessee is going to act as kind of that first course correction in what is truly the wild, wild west. But that we're not going to have that here on this show. But I was talking with a buddy of mine. I was like, I'm not shocked that this has happened. I'm just shocked at how quickly it all transpired. You always hear whispers, okay? You always hear whispers. You can't report on every whisper you hear. We say it all the time at VolQuest.com. We have so many stories that are written that never run because things change by the minute. You always, things are dire until they're not. Things are great until they're not. And that's the way this thing just moves so quickly from Thursday afternoon to Friday morning being a no-show, and essentially the ship has sailed. Wednesday night, rather, or I guess Thursday night, Nico being at Joey Halzle's house for a position group dinner, and everything was great, to no-showing Friday morning, and that was pretty much it. So it's kind of shocking still how fast all this has happened and everything. And obviously, Josh Heupel spoke to the media, met with the media after the orange and white game, which we'll discuss on Monday's show. And I thought he absolutely crushed this. I thought he dominated this answer. This is lengthy. Going to play a couple different clips here on this show, an abbreviated Locked On Vols over the next 20 minutes or so. This one's lengthy, so I do apologize, but it's really good. His full opening statement, the Nico portion of it, he talked first about the orange and white game. This is his opening statement on the Nico situation. He did a great job. Give this a listen.
I'm sure I'm going to get asked about this here in a second, so I'll address it on the front end. Today's landscape of college football, it's different than what it has been. It's unfortunate, just the situation and where we're at with Nico. I want to thank him for everything that he's done since he's gotten here. That's as a recruit to who he was as a player, and how he competed inside of the building. And so a great appreciation for that side of it. Obviously, we're moving forward as a program without him. I said it to the guys today. There's no one that's bigger than the power T, and that includes me. And they hear me say that a lot inside of that team room. This program has been around for a long time, with a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players that came before that laid the cornerstone pieces, the legacy, the tradition that is Tennessee football. It's going to be around a long time after I'm done and after they're gone. And that's what's special about being here, is that there is a legacy and a tradition that is so rich. And a logo that's recognized not just across the nation but across the world too. And today you got a chance to see 110 guys that ran out and competed their butts off, that give their all for Tennessee and do it the right way. And really proud of the spring that they've had, but also how they culminated it as well. So excited about where we're at this point. Man, there's a lot of work for this team to go continue to grow, to have the ability to chase the things that we want to in the fall. But we're where we need to be as well. And our coaches and staff, guys have been here over the last 4 years, have rebuilt this program, and it's built to win. And I say that as we're moving forward from today too. This program's ready to go win next fall. And as a program, since we've been here, we've won with a lot of different QBs. Done it historically in my career with a lot of different QBs. Some of those guys have been older, some of them have been younger, but we'll have a quarterback that's ready to go win and help us compete for a championship. So I'll open it up from there.
Couple different things there. 3 main points that I want to bring out. And I kind of opened it with the cold open in this regard. First and foremost, he thanked Nico. And I know a lot of you guys are sitting here saying, "Oh, what are you doing? Just to throw him under the bus or hang him out to dry or whatever that phrase comes to mind about how you wanted to go scorched earth." And I did not talk to Josh Heupel off the record. I listened to that and then I deuced out and had to go cover a Tennessee baseball game remotely. And I'm sure he's got some stronger feelings off the record, but the way he handled himself in that opening statement about Nico Iamaleava, it's got to be applauded. Thanking him, starting out by thanking him for everything he did here. And some of you guys are saying, well, he didn't do that. It is what it like, just coming in here and competing and growing and being coachable and all that. He's thanking him for that. He didn't even mention being the starting quarterback of a team that went to the college football playoff or anything like that. He just said, I appreciate who he was competing and the framework of the offense and the team and all that. And I thought that was really classy. It showed that Josh Heupel is obviously a mature person. It showed well with recruits, I feel like. I thought that was about the best way possible for him to start this thing. So that's how it started. Then he kind of gets into some of the good stuff. And sure, this, and taken out of context, it can be like, oh man, what a dig. But it is what it is. He said this, quote, "There's no one bigger than the power T." And he immediately said that. And I'm talking about myself too. I'm not bigger than the power T. And he goes into talking about how this program has been around for ages and there's been great people and coaches that have built the foundation of this program and taken it to the mountaintops and all that. And it's going to be around a lot longer than you or I or anybody around this program today is. It's going to continue on. And so said nobody's bigger than the power T. And at the end of this, whether you want to commend Nico for what he did or whatever, and there's so many different layers to this, and we're going to continue breaking it down because, at the end of the day, negotiating a new deal, there's nothing wrong with that. We've all done that in our jobs before. I've done that in my job before. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you look at this and then this and then this, and then look at what you've done on the field compared to this player, where you started out with, okay, where he was already pretty well compensated, but the market changed and all that. That's a conversation for another day. Okay. But nobody's bigger than the power T. And at the end of the day, Nico's leaving Tennessee to go pursue other opportunities, and a lot of that's name, image, and likeness. And I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. I've said it several times this weekend. I don't think this is just a Nico Iamaleava decision. I think that there's obviously people around him that are helping him with this decision, to put it, very, very nicely. So I thought that was really interesting. Nobody's bigger than the power T. I thought it needed to be said, and I thought he did a great job expressing that and not coming across as as snooty or hurt or distraught or anything like that. The other one, this is kind of how he ended it, the opening statement. Quote, "We will have a quarterback ready to go and win." And talking about how he's coached different types of quarterbacks, young, old, mobile, immobile, pocket passers. And that's something that he and Joey Halzle both discussed when they first got the jobs all the way back in the spring of 2021. And he said he's lost, starting quarterbacks the first day of fall practice, week 6. And so I thought that was kind of interesting too. I mean, it was a thank you, Nobody's bigger than the power team. We're going to move on. The show doesn't stop for anybody. And he said, we're going to have a quarterback. I don't know who it is right now, but we're going to have a quarterback. He's going to go win some games for us. And I thought that opening statement was just phenomenal there from Josh Heupel. We got more coming up, a couple more clips I want you guys to hear from Josh Heupel's opening statement, an abbreviated Locked On Vols. We'll be back to 30 minutes on a Monday morning. But when we come back, why does he still want to coach football with all this crap going on? That's coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you can stop just managing your money. You can start building wealth. All right. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much money I was using on online food delivery or online shopping. Now I budget smarter and I save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, I can use Monarch to check my finances, track my spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com for promo code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year at Monarch Money. And big shout out to Supply House. Get the supplies that you need from the site made for skilled trades. That is Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and their latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an online order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for that extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are taking advantage now. It's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use that promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's all at supplyhouse.com. So with all the extracurriculars that is, coaching football now in 2025, coaching college football in 2025, why, and I've said this repeatedly, why on earth would anybody want to coach in college now? It's not enough juice for the squeeze, right? It's just so much, and you're well compensated, and I'm on record. Many people disagree with me. They're not paid enough for all the crap they have to deal with. I've physically seen, coaches on this coaching staff that in the month of June, they're just so tired because you've got recruiting and official visits, and you got, workouts and all that. And then you're getting ready. You got staff meetings. There's just so much that goes on. But I'm talking about right now, name, image, likeness, transfer portals, COVID years, unlimited transfer portals. So all the players got the leverage and all that. Thought it was a good question. Josh Heupel was asked, why do you still love coaching football? Love his answer right here.
What happens outside of the game in some ways has changed, right? But the game hasn't changed. You got to be tough, smart, and physical. You got to play extremely hard. You got to have fundamentals and technique. I choose to coach college football because I love dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds most of the time. All right, okay. But I love the pageantry of college football. I love the NFL's different, right? Not in a bad way, it's just different. I love the growth of young people, taking somebody that shows up from different backgrounds and helping them grow in their maturity as a man, and how that parlays itself into helping them grow as a football player too. It's just it's a chance to be in the middle of their journey as a man and as a player versus being on the back end of the journey, being at the destination point. I love so much about this game and this time frame. And when you have a team that's like, the best part of my day is when they show up every single day. When you got a staff that's like-minded, that is selfless, that cares about the people around them, man, I don't consider it work. I get to go compete and try to be our best every single day. It's awesome walking in there.
Felt like he was getting a little emotional there at the end. I mean, that's just how much it means to him, right? I mean, this means everything to Josh Heupel. And so that was kind of refreshing to hear that with everything going on, not just with Josh Heupel right now, but obviously it's not ideal. Your starting quarterback leaving, 5-star, number 1 overall prospect. But more than I mean, that's in the past. It's your starting quarterback that, sure, did he underperform last year or did he live up to expectations last year or whatever? That's, again, a conversation for another day. It's a starting quarterback that has experience and was a part of your team making the college football playoff. It's a guy that was a quarterback for your team beating Alabama and Florida last year, okay? And so it's not ideal on August the 12th to lose your starting quarterback. And for Josh Heupel to kind of sit there and still just gush over coaching this game that he loves so much, I thought that was pretty refreshing. Pretty refreshing. He also talked about how they need to grow together as a team. They got to just come together. They have no other they have no other way to go except to come together, rally together. And I thought this was a good answer as well.
If it's going to happen, rip the Band-Aid too. At the end of the day, we got a lot of great work for the 2 guys that are here, and we got a chance to move forward as a program. So it's unfortunate, just in the landscape of college football that this happens at this point. But, I told our coaches yesterday afternoon when we had a staff meeting, I said, if it's going to happen, and sometimes it happens through injury, game 5, game 6. I've had it in my career where I lost starting quarterback before we started training camp, the day of the start of training camp. And at the end of the day, this is the greatest team game there is. And, that group where we lost them on day 1, they rallied together. Adversity, when it strikes, you got 2 choices. It can bring you together or divide you. That group came together and ultimately went on and won a conference championship that year. And this group inside of that locker room, they're tough, they're competitive, they care about each other, and we got to grow together.
I jumped the gun earlier talking about quarterbacks and how, he had one that got hurt and they rallied together and won a conference championship. That was in this soundbite, not the opening soundbite. But nonetheless, the point still remains. This team's going to, the attempt to rally and move on together. And, the players spoke afterwards. I thought it was a really good move by Tennessee's Sports Information Department. 2 veterans on the team. I mean, again, we'll talk about the orange and white game and who was out there, who wasn't. I mean, Tennessee, it was a glorified practice of what it was. It was nothing like a spring game. They also had a ton of guys who were out, 2 guys specifically who were out. Miles Kitselman, who's recovering from, pec injury, and Arion Carter. They went to the podium to address and to answer questions about Nico, not so that Merklinger and George MacIntyre didn't have to do that. And so I thought that was a really, really good move. And we'll hear some clips and discuss, what those guys had to say post orange and white game. The last clip I want to play for you guys, my guy Rob Lewis, colleague over VolQuest.com, he was sitting there the entire time. It's so funny. He's like, I can't write 4 takes on this. I don't have 4 takeaways from this. Talking about the orange and white game. He's like, I'm just going to write something on Nico afterwards. And he asked me, have you seen hardly any Tennessee fans clamoring about losing Nico and upset about losing Nico? It's been overwhelmingly support of Tennessee moving on and Josh Heupel moving on and, making a line in the sand saying we will not budge when it comes to stuff like this. And I'm like, man, I haven't seen hardly any of it, right? And so he asked the question about essentially the loyalty of Tennessee fans and how encouraging it's been to see that so far, and if he's seen any of that. And that's what Josh Heupel had to say about that.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Vol Nation, rallies around this group of players and this program. I have been here long enough and seen enough things happen that that's why I consider it the greatest fan base in college sports, not just college football. Haven't paid attention to social media at this point, and we'll try to stay off of it here for a little while too.
Probably a good advice for anybody, not just a football coach, probably for myself and you, the viewer, listening or watching this on YouTube. All right, so that's kind of all I got right now. Again, I've wanted to continue to put out a lot of episodes here. This one specifically focusing on what Josh Heupel said to the media, what Josh Heupel said in regards to moving on from Nico Iamaleava. I thought he knocked it out of the park. Now, I will say this as we end this show. It's been great. It's been great to see. It's been great to see national media kind of back Tennessee, because that never happens. It's kind of great to see the Tennessee fan base all kind of come together in unison and kind of say, even the ones that like Nico Iamaleava a lot. And I feel like I've stood up for, Nico in terms of his play a lot, and really kind of, and I was like this in the offseason already, like really kind of pointing to that extra gear that he can hit, that if he does hit, man, it's going to be a dangerous quarterback. But kind of putting all that aside, just in general, it's like your program doesn't want to be pushed around. Your program doesn't want to be held hostage. Enough's enough. And I've seen this fan base kind of in unison almost, social media, non-social media, like they all kind of had the same like-minded thought about this whole situation. And it's been kind of cool. It's been really, really cool to see that. Now, having said all of that, I'm interested to see kind of where this energy is in the fall when whoever's the quarterback, Jake Merklinger or George MacIntyre or a portal guy or whatever, you lose a game that you're not supposed to win or you're not supposed to lose, or there's a bad turnover in the fourth quarter of an SEC game, or you finish 8-4. Again, we'll discuss how this impacts Tennessee's win-loss record at a later date and all that. We'll continue to do that as we move along, but I hope this same energy, not to say this is a mulligan season because I think this team is too talented to think that way, but they are going to be working from behind at the most important position in all of sports, and that is the quarterback position. So many different layers. We'll continue to peel it off. We'll discuss. It's like a fireside chat. If you haven't, heard or watched any of the episodes from this past weekend, I think there was one out on Friday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning. This one, there'll be one Monday morning as well. We'll continue to discuss and make sense of all this. Tennessee has moved on from quarterback Nico Iamaleava, and Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel knocked it out of the park in terms of talking about the whole situation. We'll come back, get in those questions, comments, concerns for a Tuesday Lockdown Vols. We'll be back on Monday morning. We will break down, discuss, analyze everything that we possibly can. Again, it was a glorified practice, but the orange and white game, that's coming up on a Monday Lockdown Vols. Until then, I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody.